All right, all right, all right. We're back. We're back, baby.
Hey, everybody.
What is it? Is it episode 13?
It is episode 13. I know that the last episode, so two things. The last episode, I did think it was episode 13 for two segments the last time. I thought it was episode 13, hence the title, Whoops! Oops! was in
not.
there.
It was
And,
12?
so yes, it was 12.
Gotcha.
Now we're on 13. And I double checked before I came here, it is 13. So, yes, this is episode 13. And apologies to the audience for not recording yet again last time because just we're busy and,
Life.
Yeah, life. We also have, my lovely girl in studio today. So, you want to say hi to the audience, honey?
Hello, audience. How are you doing on this fine Sunday evening?
I did not realize we had a robot in studio, but as I pose AI, so if you're trying to replicate that, I mean, wonderful job, sweetheart. I kid anyway. So again,
Oh, I had to sneeze, but it's not coming out, and I can't concentrate, so that's why.
interesting. All right, well, so there you go. She filled it. It's because of life and such, and
Wow.
busy life. Everything like that. Also, we had like one thing to talk about, which we will talk about today, just not in this segment, and that is the only topic we were going to do the last time was conspiracy theories, and that was a follow up to the last episode where I ended one of the segments of an episode saying, I don't believe space is real, but he also mentioned we never landed on the moon. But again, that's a topic for next time. Just wanted to talk a little bit about some events that have happened in the last week or so in regards to it is politics, but some of it is a little bit politically related, but it's also has to do with like media and then people protesting and then stuff that I didn't know about until Fletch shortly before recording informed me of what he found out. Blew my mind, but stay tuned. I just wanted to begin this conversation with the last thing that we talked about, which was one battle after another, our thoughts on the movie and such, and how crappy that movie was. But get this, Fletcher, and the reason why I'm saying this is all politically related is I just announced, now I think everybody knows this by this point, you guys know when you're buying a DVD or a Blu-ray or a 4K DVD, and they have like that special edition steelbook that might be in a box or just might be a steelbook by itself. Which, by the way, shout out to my girlfriend. She bought me one recently, and it's a very nice one. It's the Nobody Won Steelbook. And it looks really nice. Can't wait to, download the code and, check it out. I wish I had it with me right now, actually, to show it off, because I just show just how lucky I am. But beside the, excuse me. Generally speaking, it's normally like, and you would probably agree, Fletcher, that it's normally like the big blockbusters that would probably be more likely to get those special edition steelbooks,
for sure.
or even just those limited box sets that might come with
I
like
know
a
what you're talking about,
like a trilogy or a whole entire franchise, like Fast and Furious or Harry Potter. One battle after another is getting a steelbook, and I was like baffled by that. But here's where the kicker comes in, where politics kicks in. I left a comment saying it had no direction, the dialogue was awful, and there was zero plot, so many plot holes, and the acting was terrible. Like, I just roasted it. Get this, Fletcher. Guess what the first response to that comment was?
What?
Republican bot alert.
What do you mean?
I was told after criticizing the movie that people thought I was a Republican bot on Twitter because I said the movie was shit. What does this have to do with Democrat or Republican? The movie sucks. I don't care if it's Republican or Democrat leaning. If your movie's shit, it is shit.
You're kidding me.
I was accused of being a Republican, and then just because I criticized the movie.
That's insane. Literally. That's why you were like, I'm going to save it for the podcast.
Like he knew that I told him about the steelbook thing, but he didn't know the replies I was going to get.
That's insane. Literally. The movie was just terrible. It has nothing to do.
It didn't
with
say like screw
partisan.
Donald Trump or anything like that.
It doesn't have
just,
anything to do with politics. It was just terrible.
I think the only thing you can relate to it is the whole scene from the beginning, like the immigration thing. But beyond that, I don't see how it's related to our modern day politics.
No, that's insane. Literally.
I do remember some people say like, "Oh, it's a movie that they want to make, like to imagine if Kamala Harris won the presidency." But I'm like, dude, when we watched this movie, guys, that was a claim that Morgan and I both saw. I actually played the video around. Shout out to Pop Culture Crisis for reporting on that. Pop Culture Crisis is a podcast that is connected to Timcast IRL, and that's partially where I got some of the news on like the movie F.A.N, and then
I'm getting you a shirt that says Republican bot.
You know what? You probably should. I'll wear that badge. I guess I'm a Republican bot, guys.
You're gonna wear it on the next episode.
Yeah. So stay tuned. I'm gonna have a Republican bot shirt.
That's literally the craziest thing.
That's like Fletcher, you telling me that you didn't like. And I know we all did. You, me, and Morgan all did. But if you tweeted on Twitter that you didn't like the Reagan movie with Dennis Quaid, and I called you a Democrat bot, it's like, now, granted, it's a little different. That movie is about Reagan and would lean towards, Republican values or something like that. But that's like if you just said, "Oh, I didn't like the movie." Again, I'm not saying you did, obviously.
No.
But if you didn't like it, I just say, well, you're just a liberal.
No, that's a great example.
It's just stupid.
It's the same thing, and they're both ignorant because it makes no sense. Like, we were just commenting on the quality of the movie.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with partisan politics.
Like, the only the movie prior, the last movie that we didn't like, that was the worst one before one ballot to another, Civil War, you can make the whole comparison of, this is like talking about how Donald Trump was and would be as the president, and this is what America would turn into. You can lead it to that. And by the way, the director of Civil War literally, is a known anti-Trumper. So, put two and two together. But as far as I know, I didn't know if the director of One Battle After Another was like I know nothing. I know nothing about any of the actors other than Leonardo DiCaprio, yes, did endorse Kamala Harris for the presidency. But look, I wasn't going to not watch it because an actor decided to endorse a political candidate. I can give a shit what an actor says. Now, if you're a heckler and say that we're pieces of garbage because, we didn't endorse a candidate, then yeah, I might not be inclined to watch your movie.
Right.
But Leonardo DiCaprio didn't ever do it. He just said, he endorsed Kamala Harris for the presidency and she lost, and he just moved on. It's like
that's wild. Though
I just don't get that. And then
that's why you actually got.
I was called, and I can show you the receipts now.
No, it's okay.
I can show. In fact, if you guys I will put the tweet.
That is nuts. That's literally the meaning of crazy.
And then this is going to shift into another thing I want to talk about. Again, we can only talk about this for 5 minutes or something. It leads into, speaking of Donald Trump and the immigration thing, I gotta call out the left, the hecklers on the left saying that, we're gonna host No Kings. I know we're a week late to this because last Saturday is when they held the No Kings, not yesterday Saturday, but the previous Saturday, hosting No Kings protests, and they're all saying, oh, he's a king because he's ripping families apart and, he's just acting like he's a king. You do realize this, guys, and I'll put it on over to you, Fletch. A king wouldn't let you protest.
You wouldn't be allowed to protest.
He would send the army to shut down your parade.
Exactly. If you were an actual king, you would not be allowed to protest. the whole thing is oxymoronic. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
And we're not
These
defenders of
people,
Donald
like,
Trump. We will
whatsoever.
we're-
I'm going to get to something. In
Oh
a
yeah,
couple
and we're about
minutes.
to roast him for this entire segment.
like for the whole Argentina.
But to
and
say that
the
he-
bailout,
oh God.
it's just crazy. But that's
But to say that he's acting like a king.
Though, what are your sentiments on the actual?
I'm just
No
gonna
Kings
s-
protest.
I'm just
Because
gonna
to
say
me,
this right now.
They don't even make any sense because of the point you just made, and they don't. What is your point? He is not a king. Would the government be shut down if he was a king? No, he would just do whatever he wants. The government's shut down because we have checks and balances. We have the Democratic Party that's put into place.
And the Republican
Like,
Party
and the
that's put
Republican
into
Party
place.
That's put into place some, like, they have problems with current legislation. So they're like, no, we're going to shut this down for a while until we can work this out. You just can't, he can't do whatever he wants.
No,
That's
he
what
can't.
a king would do.
If he could
You
do
get
whatever he
royal
wanted
choice,
to do,
what they call
he would have
royal
gotten
choice.
away scot-free with everything,
That's
every wrong thing that
nuts.
he's done, and he hasn't. You know, there have been judges that blocked him. But in terms of my sentiments on the whole thing, I'm gonna take one scenario from each side, like when a Republican was in office and a Democrat was in office, and the opposite sides of the leader that held office would criticize it, but then the other side would criticize nothing. I'll give you one example where there was a Republican leader we had in office. I didn't see the Republicans calling him out. Was George W. Bush. No one called him out when he said, if you oppose the Iraq War, you were anti-American, which he and Dick Cheney did. Pieces of fucking garbage. And all that stuff, then line us into wars. And then I don't see any Democrats calling out anything that the Biden administration did when it came to vaccine mandates, calling Trump supporters terrorists and extremists, when I'm just saying this right now. I have been far more critical of Donald Trump. That's led me to many conflicts with my fellow conservative family and friends and such. Trust me, I've had my fair share of arguments with Trump supporters. But the amount of people that refuse to call out Biden's vaccine mandates, saying that Trump supporters were terrorists, and by the way, that's why I mentioned, the conflicts I have with Trump supporters. My Trump supporter friends and family members are kind to me. They may disagree, and someone may say, look, you're foolish, or be independent or a third party or libertarian or something. That's fine. We can have our back and forth with that. But they never treated me the way that Democrats did, that liberal voters have. Now, there are some who are liberal that have disagreed, and they've been gracious to me and gracious with them. And I appreciate that, and I give credit where credit is due. But the amount of people that were so deranged that they say, oh, Trump's a king, but yet Biden acted more when he had a thought reaching his brain, acted more like a king than Donald Trump ever did, saying that you need to get vaccinated, we're going to impose a federal mandate on the states, and we're going to we're going to have this disastrous Afghanistan pullout, then say, oh, we're not going to do anything, we'll just, fund Ukraine and then demolish Putin. Like, that's more king behavior than Donald Trump ever did. And not to say he hasn't gone overboard quite a bit when it comes to immigration. And I support him on immigration. I think these criminals need to get the fuck out of America. I think they should be in prison. But don't try to tell. Where were you guys during the Biden administration? All you guys say, Trump's a king, he's acting like a king and whatever. Where were you guys during the Biden and Harris administration?
Trump's an easy target, that's why. He's an easy target.
Easy? Oh, yeah, but it wasn't easy to say, oh, Biden's just an old fart who doesn't know what he's doing. That was easy for me to fucking do.
Well, I mean, any sane, common sense human being on planet Earth would notice that there was something obviously wrong with the guy. it's actually kind of cruel what happened to him. That's a topic for another day. But
And by the way, my heart was broken when
that's
they
like,
did that to
in
Biden.
my opinion, that's like elderly abuse. It's spousal abuse.
Oh
it's
no! What they
family
did,
abuse.
what they did to
They
Biden, that
trotted
was
that
over.
guy out there, and the guy literally didn't know what was going on.
He'll never be remembered as a president, other than being a lousy
It's
fuck.
actually kind of crazy what happened. I mean, he the last year of his presidency. Well, I mean, pretty much the entire 4 years. But I mean, it was so bad the last year. It was atrocious. He had no mental acuity. He had no mental capacity to do anything. He couldn't even finish sentences. He was just a wreck, and I can't believe that happened still.
Yeah,
That
so-
was real life, and this is real life.
We
Like
saw
what
it
we're
live.
talking about right now, like the No Kings protest. I mean, they bring it back, like, so we can like wrap up, pretty much in a.
And then we're gonna get to
concise
what
fashion,
Trump
yeah.
has done wrong once again.
Yeah, I mean,
is that
and there's plenty of stuff.
you guys are right in criticizing Trump for
It's
the
just
Epstein
bad.
files, and I don't think he's going hard enough in immigration. I think he's actually going at some of the wrong people. There's that controversy. There was an American citizen that was deported. Look, I think every criminal needs to get out, and I think both Democrats and Republicans, as I've stated, they need to come together and say, hey, we should just let every illegal in, but we also shouldn't keep people from being a legal citizen until 26 years have passed. I think it's a load of BS that they do that. But to treat Trump like he is just some dictator, dude, if he's a dictator, he's the worst dictator in American history.
Right.
No, dictators are probably laughing. Like, I guarantee Joseph Stalin is rolling in his grave, laughing at all these Democrats say, oh, dictator, I could do that game far fucking better.
Yeah.
It's just insane. So, again, last thing, if you guys are going to call Trump a king, then by your definition of who's being a king, Biden was a king equally and far worse. That's my stance on it. Honey, do you have any stance on what we just mentioned, or not particularly? No. Okay, so she's
engrossed right now.
No, I'm trying to actually find something. That's all.
it's no. Hey, it might be useful for this. So
No, it's just Jackson's YouTube. I just can't find it.
That was
cool. Oh yeah, Jackson, the guy who recommended me talking about the Winnie a Broken TV story. Yeah, if you guys haven't checked that out, go check it out. So anyway, Fletch, what did you want to mention about this Argentina bailout thing?
Yeah, because a lot of people don't know about it. One, two, they don't.
It's not like a news
even if
organization
they-
or anything talking
even
about
if
it?
they, well, I mean, you'll get it touched on but nobody ever describes what's actually going on with the Argentina bailout. It's $40 billion. That's a lot of money.
That's how much they're giving Argentina?
Yeah, they're giving him.
When we
40
just approached $38 trillion in debt. Are you kidding me?
No, they just, this is all going to happen. I think it's next week, but I mean, let's just say, for all intent and purpose, it's happening now. It's $20 billion that they went and printed up, basically. What I want to prove is that, I'll just talk about it for a couple minutes and explain the dynamic of actually what's going on and what I want to show the audience and even if the audience is just a handful of people, this is all about class. There is no partisan anymore, because I'm feeling that the extreme right, the extreme left, they're different, but they're both they're off the reservation.
In terms of
different ways.
voters or the parties?
The parties themselves, yeah, and the voters, because they comprise the parties. We have extreme partisan politics, but they're extreme in just different ways. But what really is happening is class warfare. You have the haves and the have-nots. We are getting away from everyday capitalism, and we're getting it's evaporating. The middle class is eroding and evaporating. You can't afford anything. It's so expensive to do anything. This is all about class war. It's about the rich helping the rich, and we all the rest of us, even if we get a decent job where you make a little bit of money and you can have a decent life, it's the haves and the have-nots. The rich, the transformation of wealth over the last, almost 10 years since COVID it's been astronomical what's happened. But that's what I want to put. It's class warfare. It's the feudal system. We're going in the wrong direction. Instead of like having the middle class growing, instead of having a successful economy, capitalism at its finest, we're going in the wrong. We're shrinking the middle class. We're shrinking the basic belly of the country, and we're going back to, like, you have uber rich, you have all these billionaires, and then you have a bunch of poor people. And that's not what you want. That's not how the country was ever successful or is gonna be successful. But anyways, Argentina. Let's go over this. $20 billion in a just straight, we're gonna give them $20 billion. We printed up 20 bill and just give it to them in suitcases or hefty bags, whatever. The other is like a currency exchange where they call it the sovereign currency exchange, which is all a bunch of rhetoric and titles and words for the exchange of dollar and pesos. Basically, we're backing a loan, meaning the federal government, the U.S. government,
what we fund.
What we fund, and we're going to back it. So if Argentina doesn't do these currency exchanges with other countries and pay their debt, then the U.S. government will come in and will pay that. So it's just like what happened in COVID with all those business loans. Like, oh, hey, we'll give you the money and you don't have to pay it back. Well, it's not a loan then. It's just basically it's a gift. So they just worded it so it's 20 billion. We're doing 20 billion and 20 billion. Why are we doing $20? Why are we bailing out Argentina? We don't have enough problems here in America where you could use $40 billion on the cities and the people here in America.
And we're still funding Ukraine and Israel and all these other countries.
Yeah. And it always goes back to like billionaires helping out billionaires. It's the rich helping out rich. So the Treasury Secretary is a guy named Scott Bessert. Scott Bessert is a former George Soros associate. Right then and there,
Sorry, you're an associate of George Soros. Stay the hell away.
But that's who Trump picks as Secretary of Treasury.
Trump picked him?
That's insanity. Like, why would you do that? Soros is a total scumbag. He's one of the cancers of like culture.
He's one of the. He's like
Earth.
in the top 5 worst people in the United States of America.
1,000%. So Besser's
I don't see
Treasury
Democrats
Secretary,
calling this shit out.
And to give you the cliff notes, meaning the audience. Bessert is like buddies, he's former really tight friends with a guy named Rob Centrone. Centrone is the hedge fund manager for Discovery Capital. Huge hedge fund, billions of dollars in the hedge fund. What Centrone did, betting on Milei, and the audience might not know, I know you know, Milei is the guy.
Yeah, Javier
Argentinian,
Milei, the
president that
of
got
Argentina.
elected with the crazy haircut, the chainsaws, if you guys remember.
The one
with
where
Elon
he has
Musk,
the sound. He has the sound on the soundboard going "Afuera."
Yes, that dude. Well, they thought, meaning Trump administration was influential. All the people surrounding conservative politics were influential in getting Milei in an office. So Centrone of Discovery Capital thinks when Milei gets in office, the economy of Argentina, which was floundering but wasn't atrocious. It was just floundering. It wasn't doing great.
I heard it was doing pretty. I remember hearing this report in 2023 and 2024. I heard that Argentina was doing like almost as bad as we were, like during the time of Biden.
Argentina was not in a good place, but it wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't atrocious. It was just bad. It was a bad economy. Yeah. So people go to Milei. They elect Milei. They vote for Milei. They think that it's going to turn around. Centrone is betting, meaning Rob Centrone, Discovery Capital, is betting in the fact that the economy is going to rebound. So he buys, with his hedge fund that has billions of dollars, he buys up a bunch of Argentinian debt. Meaning if the economy rebounds, it's just like buying a stock low. You're going to the debt will be paid off. If Milei is successful, the economy gets going, they pay off their debt. Now he owns that debt with Discovery Capital. It's just like buying a stock low, and then you're going to sell high when the economy rebounds. Well, the economy never rebounded. So he's sitting on a shit ton of Argentinian debt that he doesn't know what to do with. But he does know what to do with it. He calls up his buddy. It's like me and you. He calls up his buddy Scott Besser. Scott Besser's the Treasury Secretary. Scott, I'm in a little bit of a bind. I'm in a little bit of a problem here. I'm going to lose billions with a B, not an M, not millions, billions of dollars. You're going to have to bail out Argentina and help me out. That's exactly what happened. So Besser makes a decision, not what's in the best interest of the United States or the constituents, you and I, Morgan, not the people that live in America. He's making a decision to help out his friend who in the past, Centrone made Besser millions of dollars when Centrone was working with Soros, and Besser wasn't a U.S. Treasury Secretary yet. Made him millions of dollars. So now this is one hand washing the other. This is me scratching your back after you scratched my back 10 years ago.
Yep.
But it's with our taxpayer dollars. So we go and we print up $20 billion and now we give them another $20 billion. You're talking about $40 billion of taxpayer money that we're giving to Argentina, and there's no benefit. We don't do any trading hardly with Argentina. We have nothing. And what does Argentina do on top of all this? I didn't even get to describe this because Morgan came in beforehand. Argentina is huge in soybeans. So is America. Those are the two biggest companies for for American soybeans, Argentinian soybeans. Those are the two biggest companies in terms of like soybean distribution.
Right.
China buys a shit ton of soybeans from America. For whatever reason, I guess we're the biggest resource for soybeans.
Could be. Hey, every country's a resource for something,
Argentina,
right?
We bail out Argentina with this $40 billion.
Sorry. Sorry.
I mean, are you serious right now? I mean, I was in the middle of a serious discussion. It's okay.
Well, we knew that this was coming. The second that Morgan was here,
exactly.
There's going to be derailment in this segment. There's going to be derailment in the next segment.
Don't lean against that, please. That's the screen. What'll happen? It'll wrinkle. Yeah, just lean on the metal. Thanks. Anyways, what happened was Argentina, since it's getting the 40 bits, since my buddy Nick, in this case, since Scott Besser, it's going to help me out. Meaning Rob Centrone, and give $40 billion. I say that again. It's with a B. It's not an M. 40 million would be criminal enough. It's billions of dollars. $40 billion. What happened is now that they get the $40 billion from the U.S. and they pay off some of this debt, meaning Malay, the crazy haircut and the chainsaw, he pays off some of his debt. He cuts the soybean prices. And now China is buying they're buying 98% of their soybeans from Argentina. Because Argentina, with the money they got from us, is able to slash the prices on the soybeans. The soybean farmers in America are almost destitute. They're irate right now. Do you see that on the news? No. Does anybody talk about like what's going on in soybean farming?
I saw like one tweet. And I don't even know where I saw Argentina. I have a million notifications on my phone. I just kind of scroll through, and I'm just
there's so much to talk about.
But now hearing this, it makes sense why Argentina popped up in the news. This, and I need to ask you something.
And who elected? I'll go with one more point.
Yeah,
and then you can finish off, and then we'll wrap up. Who got Trump elected? It was the people that wanted to reestablish the middle class. Who was the breadbasket of America? I mean, it was
his first term. It was the middle class
99% of farmers. It was like the most discrepancy of any demographic or occupation block. Like it was like all of the farmers. It was like law enforcement was like 90%. Firemen 90%, but farmers were like literally 99%, meaning only 1% of farmers as an occupation voted for Harris. Why are you screwing the people that put you in office? Why would you do that knowing, and Trump knew about this, the ramifications, because why? China's pissed off about the tariffs. So China's like, you know what? We can screw with you guys on the soybeans. You're going to screw with us on the tariffs? Tell you what, we'll buy all the soybeans from Argentina. And
As a
rather-
middle finger to us.
Exactly. It's an FU to us. And rather than Trump telling Malay, listen, you can't drop the prices on those soybeans, I want mine, meaning the United States soybean farmers, to be sustainable. So don't drop the prices. Trump doesn't say anything. And he lets it happen. And now China's like,
And this is the
sticking
same
in
dude
their
who
eyes.
doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut. He just kept his mouth shut when it comes to Javier.
Unbelievable. Like when I read all that, I'm like, and that's our point, is that, you know, a lot of people on first like look at our program, our podcast, or just talking to us, oh, you guys are conservative. I would probably lean conservative, yes, but I have a real problem.
I like what Steve
with what Trump's been doing in office. I have a real problem. Is he horrible? No, he's done some good things.
And
But
I'll
he
make
could
this
have
very clear that I am still happy that he won the last election, because
Correct.
if Harris had
1000%.
won, we'd be having an entirely different
Oh, my
conversation.
God.
We would say, guys, we can't even afford to record on this iPad. I think we'd be getting to that.
It
point.
would be crazy.
It'd be a nightmare. But what
I
we're
agree.
living is a bad, like, you know, there's nightmare and then there's bad dream. We're living through a bad dream right now. With
Nick,
this.
he could have went down as one of the 5 best presidents.
I hate to say it, I think
in
Cenk
the
Uygur might have been
history.
right about him. It's looking more clear and clear, and I hate to give Cenk Uygur credit because he's wrong on 95% of issues.
Correct.
But I do sort of agree and sympathize with his position, because I think that he comes from a place where most people don't listen to him. That's why I said I slightly agree on the whole anti-establishment thing, because the establishment, as I've stated previously, doesn't give a shit about us, right?
No.
But he might be right about Trump. I think at this point, Trump has become a con man.
Trump is a. I just saw a Cenk Uygur, the TYT on the Young Turks.
Yeah.
I
Older,
just-
like recent.
No,
like-
it was yesterday, and I just caught a clip of it, and he goes, you know, he's a noted Trump hater.
Yes.
So you got to take everything within reason.
and he's given Trump some
But I
small
mean,
taste of
he's
credit.
right. He goes, Trump is not a populist anymore. He's establishment. He just wears a different color establishment coat than Biden. Biden was 100% establishment. He was in the hierarchy. I don't
Kamala
care.
Harris
You could
was
call his
fully-
name tag Democrat. I mean, he was a corrupt politician that was all about the establishment. Trump's actions in a lot of situation over the last 6 months, he's not a populist. You wouldn't do that to your farming base. You wouldn't. All of these
No.
decisions he's making, it's like, what are you doing to MAGA?
I'm not a campaign guy, but I'm not going to say I campaigned like I knocked on doors and registered people to vote. I didn't do that. But, like, I'm telling you, like, and I'm not going to say her name just for privacy reasons. We're going to see a movie this week with her, one of my friends. Again, I'm not going to say her name. But we're seeing the new Chainsaw Man movie. It looks amazing and can't wait to see it. But I sold her. Now, she didn't. I think she didn't make it to voting, but she, at the very least, said that she wasn't voting for Harris. She had voted for Biden last time, but like this, she just said, "I'm never going to vote for Biden again, and I'm definitely not voting for Harris." She made it clear she doesn't like Trump, but she really said, "I don't want Harris to win." But I was trying to sell her. I'm like, and I'll make it clear, I'm not biased. I said, look, there are many things I had a problem with Donald Trump, but the way I looked at him when voting for him in this last election was, I'm like, okay, it's like a job interview. You look at their resume, okay, you did good with this. Okay, would prefer you do better with this. You didn't last long there, whatever. But generally, I was like, okay, so you're hired. Like, I will vote for you or something.
Yeah.
That's the way I looked at Trump. I wasn't like, yeah, like, we need Trump all the way.
Yeah,
He's the
right.
solution. He's the hero. I never looked at
But
it
I
like
did
that.
want to give him a chance.
But I
Yeah.
liked what it was under him,
Mhm.
and I wanted that again because I miss that. And I keep
I
telling
agree.
people, like, people say, "Oh, Trump won because," like, you could say this is 1% maybe, but people say like, oh, Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA growing is why he won. I hate to say this, those people are going to vote for Trump anyways. Now, him growing could have played a part, and that's surely the case, but it was multiple factors. But I think the majority of the reason why people voted for Trump, and I called this, I told people the last time, say what you want about 2020, but I said if Biden were to become the president, I said Trump's going to win the next time because he is going to do horrible, and I was right. Biden did worse than I thought he would, and then Trump's going to come back and win because people are going to say, I remember when things were simple and better under Trump, so I want to go back to that point, and that is why Trump won. Now, you can also say Bobby Kennedy and Tulsi Gabbard and everything else. There was a lot of factors in why he won, but the fact of the matter is Trump has just become such a con man, and he's honestly evil in my eyes. In fact, I find when the left says that he's racist, dude, nobody points out how racist he is towards Palestinians. He uses the term Palestinian as a negative term. It's no different than calling a black person the N-word, where he went to Chuck Schumer and say, oh, you're just a Palestinian. Are the left and right not going to call out his racism when it comes to that? But no. And then, the left say, oh, he's bad with economics, and the right will say he's great. But no one's talking about this Argentina thing. And this is why we are independently minded people. I don't care what party you are.
It's an example.
It is.
There's lots of examples on both sides of the fence, and I think that's what at the very beginning, when I'm like, you have these extreme tribes, these partisan politics, where it's like we're getting away from the middle. We're both in both camps, and you and I have said over the last, especially, it's like a snowball going downhill. It's extrapolated over the last 6 months, is that it's getting worse on the right. The right is doing the same thing. They're just doing it about.
They're just turning a blind eye and pretending that Trump is doing everything perfectly. And they might criticize one little thing, but then they'll go back to worshiping him as if he's Jesus or something like that.
Come on, it's not reality. As delusional as the left was with
Biden, and W. Bush.
Yeah, it's now happening with Donald. I'm like, come on, man. So the Argentina thing blew me away. That's enough about that. It just proves corruption is so ingrained in the DNA of politics.
In the words of the great,
that you can go to a guy as Treasury Secretary because you're buddies with him and be like, hey. Listen,
who was associated with George effing Soros.
Yeah, and you can go to, Scott Bessert and say, dude, you're going to have to do a bailout of Argentina, or my hedge fund implodes. And they go ahead and do it. That shows me that it's about the rich, helping the rich.
And then keeping people like us down under their boots.
They're doing nothing for the little guy. Yeah. Nothing at all.
Hey, and I'll leave you guys on this note. In the words of the great Tom Woods, no matter whether it's left or right, no matter who you vote for, you get John McCain.
And in the words of my grandfather, who,
oh boy.
I'm done. In the words of my grandfather, watch out for number 1 and don't step in number 2. So,
all right, guys, we'll see you in the next segment.
We'll see you on the next segment right here, American Fan Podcast.
Stay tuned for conspiracy theories.